Yacht of Fools is the 16th episode of the 6th season of Cheers. This is directed by Thomas Lofaro, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And it's a pretty good episode. In fact, we have some really great moments. We don't actually spend a tremendous amount of time at Cheers, but we do cut back occasionally, and we start off at Cheers. The guys are watching something boring on television, and then Cliff comes in with some videotapes, and he hands them to Frasier one by one, and Frasier kind of dissects them a little bit too much. We have Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Day the Earth Stood Still, and they decide that watching whatever boring thing on television would be far more interesting than listening to Frasier overanalyzing things. We then have Evan Drake on the phone at the opposite end of the bar, and it turns out he was meant to go with somebody else on his yacht, but it fell through, so he decides to invite Sam instead. I really think Evan Drake does think quite highly of Sam, probably much to Rebecca's annoyance, and he still thinks Rebecca and Sam are together. So he suggests Sam takes Rebecca. And Sam isn't interested in this. When Evan Drake leaves, he decides to phone up his dental hygienist, a woman called Julie. He invites her. She's going to come along. Problem solved. And Sam decides he won't even tell Rebecca because that would be disastrous. And then Rebecca comes into the bar and she's excited because she bumped into Evan Drake on his way out when she was coming in. And he told her about the trip. So, needless to say, she's going to have to go. But Sam finds a way to invite Julie anyway by pretending she's his sister. And then we're on the yacht. And I have to say, I love Rebecca's outfit. I love the red colour. It's not a colour we see that often on Rebecca, although her jacket was red, one of her iconic jackets. But I like it. It's a nice outfit. It's irrelevant to my enjoyment of the episode, but I liked it. And definitely has a kind of classic nautical feel to it. And we also have Julie, played by Dorothy Parke. And it's a bit awkward because Evan starts to flirt with Julie, but Julie kind of flirts back, and she is pretending to be Sam's sister. She's aware of this. She's going along with this, and she seems to be having fun with it, but she seems to forget that she's actually there as Sam's date. And we'll come back to that in a moment. We then cut back to the bar, and some customers are there. One of them has a birthday, and they ask, what's a good drink for a birthday? And Woody points out that Sam usually gives the birthday person a free beer. Brilliant. It just so happens that it's the birthday person's date's birthday as well. And then some other customers jump in on this, and then Norm and Cliff also take part in this, and it just so happens to be their birthday as well. It's a very brief trip back to Cheers. We then go back to the yacht, and we have a rather sweet moment, actually, with Sam and Rebecca are both in their cabin. Obviously, they're sharing a cabin because they're meant to be there together romantically, and they're both in their pajamas. It's absolutely adorable. And Rebecca comments that Sam's hair looks like something you'd surf on. And she takes his brush and she brushes his hair for him, and it's really sweet. And then, of course, Rebecca is planning on going up to speak to Evan Drake, and Sam is meant to be going in Julie's cabin, but Julie, who is very selfish and not accepting of the fact that she's there with Sam, is also supposed to be going up to see Evan. And Rebecca and Julie both leave their cabins at the same time on multiple occasions. And Rebecca, on the third, I think it was the third occasion, opens the door again and sees Evan Drake going into Julie's cabin, and she comes back and tells Sam, I just saw Evan go into Julie's cabin, my life has no meaning, which is dramatic, but very in keeping with Rebecca's personality. And I just got really annoyed at that point. How dare Julie spend the night with Evan when she's there with Sam? I don't like her. She's not a nice person. Sam deserves better. Rebecca is distraught, and Sam genuinely comforts her. It does seem like genuinely he just wants to be there for her. But then there's a bit of an atmosphere between them. Sam points out he doesn't want to take advantage of her. If she wants him to go out of the room, just tell him. And Rebecca can only say she doesn't seem to be saying anything. And they're just about to kiss. Genuinely just about to kiss passionately. And there's a knock on the door. And it's Evan Drake. And he comes into the room, and Rebecca kind of beckons him into the room, understandably, but Sam just kind of wafts his hand in a way that could be interpreted as him beckoning him out of the room. And of course, he comes into the room and he says, Sam, I tried to seduce your sister. Which is, well, admirable of him, I guess, for saying this. Nothing happened. And he leaves. And Sam tries to reconnect with Rebecca, but of course, Rebecca's very much attracted to Evan Drake now, and she wants to go and see him. So Sam is about to go and see Julie, and this is because Rebecca points out, I believe you have a sister with a vacancy sign on her door. Out of context, very awkward. And Sam does, he's about to go and see Julie, and it turns out, well, she's otherwise busy. Julie is not a good person. Sam definitely deserves better. We're then back at Cheers, and Carla comes in, and it's really nice to have Carla back for a few more scenes because she was away having babies, and she finds out that Woody had been duped by the birthday people, but also by Norm and Cliff. And Norm and Cliff are kind of scared of Carla, so they have to end up being chased around the bar by her and then chased out of the bar, and money's flying everywhere. Again, we're only at Cheers very briefly, but it was really enjoyable. And in the final scene, Rebecca comes back into the cabin and she lies on the bed next to Sam. Sam pretends to be asleep, pretends to snore, but we can see his eyes open, and he throws his arm over Rebecca. She pulls it away several times, and then Rebecca gets an idea. With the next time that Sam tries to wrap his arm around her, she pretends that she's pulling him closer, but she's actually pulling his arm towards the drawer. It goes pitch black, and all we hear is Sam screaming. She slammed his hand in the drawer. Honestly, fair enough. Even though she was potentially giving him some suggestion that there could have been something between them a little earlier on, she's realised that that wouldn't have been a good idea. So why not get the message through to him by slamming his hand in the drawer? I could feel the pain. It felt painful. His scream sounded pained. And it was definitely an entertaining way to end things. And it's a really good episode. We do spend such a little amount of time in the bar, but it works nevertheless. And we have some great moments. Highlights would have to be, I don't know why, but I love Rebecca's outfit, the red and white outfit, and the moment between Sam and Rebecca. Rebecca declaring that her life has no meaning, and Carla chasing Norman Cliff. Loads of really great moments. Really thoroughly enjoyed this episode, as is usually the case, of course. Yacht of Fools is, as always, a really brilliant episode of Cheers, with some really great moments.